Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Juan Solo here with ASQD Gaming, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in today for some more State of Decay 2. So in today's video, we are going to be going over all of the confirmed bases that are in State of Decay 2 as of right now, and I'm basing this 100% off of things that the devs have said, screenshots, video footage, actual in-game footage of all these bases. So we're going to jump right into it and start talking about all the bases that we know of so far in State of Decay 2. So the first one being the drive-in theater base that we actually got to see a little bit of footage of from the 2016 E3 showcase video, and it's pretty wide open. It's just kind of like the open field where you would park your cars for the drive-in theater, and you'll see here in a moment here just some footage of kind of the base starting out as nothing, sort of filling up with a rec center and a few other things there. Then kind of you got a kitchen, a farm over there to the left, and it slowly kind of grows here into a decent sized community. And honestly, it's a very unique base just because it's probably one of the few that's kind of set up in an open field like that, and obviously there is a wall around the perimeter and stuff, just like all your bases are normally going to have. And then we have the bridge fort. So this is probably one of the more unique bases that's going to be in State of Decay 2, just being the fact that it's kind of like a double-decker base on top of a bridge that's over. It kind of spans over a really big river, which, like I said, it's a very unique base. And this was actually from the IGN live stream. I believe it was about a week and a half ago, and this was actually our first actual footage of seeing, on the base, what the base looks like. It's a very small base, but then also it's very, I guess you could say, you can protect it easier because there's only two ways to get to the base, and then you can go up here and you can obviously build a few more things up on top of this and have kind of an overlook of the land and stuff surrounding the bridge that goes over the river. And it's just a pretty cool base. It's very unique. Next we have the container fort. So this was actually the first real in-depth look we got at a base when IGN actually started covering State of Decay 2. I believe that was a couple months ago. They did a whole in-depth series throughout the month, and this was actually the first base we got to see, and we got to see a lot of cool stuff. And this is once again a very unique base because it also comes with watchtowers from the start. It has a lot of storage, and then obviously, like I said, you can see all the high areas that are in this base. That's going to allow you to kind of look and have really long sight lines. And then, but zombies and stuff still can get into this base as much as I kind of wish they wouldn't, just because you have this giant massive base made of shipping containers and everything, and God knows how you actually got those in place of where you wanted them. But either way, you have all this giant base and everything, and then there's these exit doors that zombies can just walk right through. That's probably one of the biggest problems I have with State of Decay 2. All this giant massive fortress of a base, and then you have like a little fence gate that zombies can just walk right through, which really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Next we have the house fort. So this we actually don't have a name on, and this is in the Turtle Ridge kind of area of one of the maps, and this is the only gameplay we've seen of this. It's just like a rural house, and I'm not sure how many of these rural houses you're actually going to be able to access and turn into bases, but it has a bottom floor, a top floor. It also has a garage, and then obviously you can build a few things. There's a garden set up right down there. There's an open slot right there, and I believe there's another open slot out in the front yard that's going to allow you to build a bunch of different facilities. And this is also probably one of the more unique bases because this was actually the first rural house that we was able to see that you could kind of customize into a base. So hopefully there's more of those out in the open world. Next we have the Barricaded strip mall. So we've seen multiple gameplays from around this base, even from PAX East. This is actually the PAX East gameplay that GameSpot covered, and it's just a very long giant strip mall, and I believe this is probably going to be one of your bigger bases when it comes to actual size, because all these little storefront shops there that you're going to be able to go in, build items, build bases. And as you can see, there's some generators set up down there, and it's just it's a cool base, and this is just one of those, it's probably going to be the bigger base that you can kind of choose from. And here's a couple screenshots actually from the rural police station base. We don't have any gameplay inside. We pretty much just got a couple real quick screenshots that I was able to capture here from the IGN live stream. And this one is very unique just because there's a lot of morale issues that you're going to have with this base, because at the start your community are going to be sleeping in the cells of the police station, so you're going to have a really decreased morale from doing that. but it's a very unique base, just being the fact that you are going to be taking place of an old police station. Here we see the church base, which we've seen a lot of gameplay of. This was actually from the PAX East demo, and then we actually got to see some more gameplay of this in the original gameplay reveal at E3 back in 2017, and it kind of shows you driving up on this base, and there's a bunch of stuff that you can set up on the outside perimeter. Also, there's quite a few things that you can set up inside, along with a watchtower up there where like the bell tower of the church is. So pretty cool base, and this was actually one of the first bases we got to see in any of the gameplay of State of Decay 2. And then last but not least, this is just a little bit of a gameplay, the only gameplay we have of it, of a small abandoned warehouse, and I'm not exactly sure where this is and if we're allowed to build anything outside of this warehouse, but it's just a kind of a unique base that we only have just this little tiny snippet of gameplay of. But overall, those are all of the confirmed bases that we have so far. So we had the drive-in base, the bridge fort, the container fort, the rural house base that had like the 2-story house with the garage and stuff, the barricaded strip mall, and then the rural police station and the church. Not to mention that little bit of that snippet of footage that we had of the warehouse, which, like I said, we don't have a whole lot of information on exactly where that warehouse is, if you can build anything outside, or that's strictly sort of an indoor base. And then also, one of the devs did mention that there is a campground somewhere where we can set up a base. And I know I put these screenshots up in a separate video, but these are just some of the cool things that you'll actually be able to customize in your base. This is the Infirmary, and with all of the customization that we can do in State of Decay 2 with these bases, you know, I'd like to see how many more unique bases and stuff we're actually going to have access to in State of Decay 2, because a lot of people, up until that actual Undead Labs live stream the other day, so many people wanted to see the bridge fort. And then when we finally got to see it, so many people were kind of astounded at just its uniqueness compared to all the other bases and stuff that we've seen. You know, how many other bases out there in State of Decay 2, out in that open world, are going to be, you know, that unique as, for instance, the bridge fort? Because the bridge fort, you know, it was double tiered. There wasn't a whole lot of room to build a lot of different facilities, especially compared to like the container fort or even say the drive-in base. It had a limited amount of space, but also when you look at that, that's a great starter base location, because you don't really have to worry about too much of your defenses, because there's only 2 ways that any zombies and stuff can actually get to that base. And I think it would be kind of cool if you could maybe have a low area off the one side, like by the river, where you could maybe jump off the bridge into the river and avoid any zombie conflicts at all. Because yes, it only has 2 ways on, you know, to the bridge, but if you get swarmed by a couple hordes on both ends of your base, you're going to be in deep trouble, because you're really not going to have any way to escape. And then with some of the other bases, you know, with like, for instance, the container fort that has 3 vehicle slots where you can store vehicles outside of your base, and then I believe the drive-in base has a couple vehicle slots, along with the shopping mart. The barricaded strip mall has, I believe, two vehicle slots. So also, depending on what base you build at, is going to determine how many cars you can actually park and save at your base, especially if you guys hook up and get some of those pre-order bonuses that come with those the vehicles and stuff. And then also with that, depending on the size of your base, you're going to have limited space to set up your much needed facilities. Like, for instance, you know, you want to be able to have a still so you can get water and stuff for your base to water your plants and stuff, you know, for a bigger base. And if you have a smaller base, you can always build a rain collector that obviously you're not going to get quite as much water, but you are going to get enough water, you know, for feeding your plants and stuff in your garden, feeding some of your community. Obviously, like I said, you're not going to get as much water as if you were doing it from a still, but then also the rain collector is going to take up a lot less space, you know, in your base. And then also with that, you know, the campground base that we really haven't seen any footage on. The devs just mentioned it. I'm trying to remember what live stream it was. It might have been one of the Undead live streams over on Twitch, but they did mention that there is a base at a campground. And like I said, guys, that's only about 10. I think it's like 9 or 10 bases that, you know, that we've actually seen through gameplay footage, screenshots, and that sort of thing in State of Decay 2. And with how big these 3 different maps are and everything, there's going to be a lot more bases that you're going to be able to choose from to make it sort of like a unique playthrough to you guys. And, you know, each time you go through the game, you'll be able to set up a different base, obviously. And then obviously when you move map to map. After you burn all the resources in a single map, you're going to have to set up a new base. So there's going to be multiple locations to help with the replay value of the game, you know, moving forward, you know, picking different bases each time, yeah, similar qualities, you know, all that good stuff. But that is pretty much all for the video, guys. I just kind of wanted to go over all of the confirmed bases that we knew about so far and kind of talk about some of the things that we're going to be able to do at them. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys found it helpful, you guys are excited about the base building in State of Decay 2, make sure to slap that like button. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all things State of Decay 2. I'm going to be covering this game very in-depth leading up to and after the launch on May 22nd. But that is pretty much all for the video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.